Hello, recapers. Today's movie starts in the future, where the United States is ruled by an authoritarian media organization called the Network. Most of the population is poor and has no access to healthcare, so the network keeps people distracted with violent game shows. The most popular one is The Running Man, where players must survive for 30 days without being killed by the network's hunters or ordinary citizens. The grand prize is $1 billion, but to this day, nobody has made it to the end. The story begins with Ben, a blue-collar worker who recently lost his job. Because he was involved in union activism, he was blacklisted, and now no one will hire him. His daughter, Kathy, is sick, and Ben desperately needs money to buy her medicine. At home, Sheila comes back late from work and announces that she'll take another shift at the bar to earn more money. Ben doesn't think it's fair for her to work so much while being surrounded by creeps. He announces that he'll bring the money home by participating in a game show, although Sheila doesn't like the idea because players are often severely injured. Ben swears he'll be fine, insisting that he'll join one of the non-violent commerce shows. After crossing his humble neighborhood, Ben reaches the fence around the upper-class area. He tells the guards that he's here for the network tryouts, and they let him pass. At the station, there's a long line of poor people hoping to be chosen. Suddenly, an old man starts to feel ill, yet he swears he can play. When he collapses, Ben catches him and yells for help. The guards scold Ben for stepping out of line and beat him to send him back. At the front desk, Ben discovers his file has a warning sign because of his insubordination, so he punches the screen in anger. He's given a bracelet and assigned to Elevator 6, where fellow players Tim and Jenny insist on befriending him. Everyone is given a uniform and put through various physical tests like climbing and running through the sewers. Ben always helps Tim survive these trials, and during their break, a guard comes to punish him. However, Ben fearlessly blocks the attack. The contestants are then put through psychological tests like word association and Rorschach images. Ben always answers with sarcasm and attitude, so the psychologist concludes he's the angriest player they've ever had. All the people who make it to the final round are given colored jumpsuits according to the game show they were chosen for. Ben, Tim, and Jenny receive red jumpsuits with targets on their backs, meaning they're joining the Running Man. Ben asks the producer, Dan, to join a safer game, but Dan offers him $1,000 to change his mind and says the other shows pay very little. Since Ben is blacklisted and needs money for his family, he signs up for the Running Man. The network moves his family to a safe house and gives them fake names. Ben is only allowed one last phone call, where he promises Sheila he will win. Before the game, Ben stays in a luxury room and receives a family photo as a good luck charm. The next day, he gets a bracelet that tracks his time and money. On live TV, host Bobby lies and says Ben is a criminal to turn the public against him. Civilians are paid to report players. Ben insults Bobby and promises to survive. The game begins with a 12-hour head start before hunters are released. Ben escapes the building, but people recognize him and threaten to report him. He gets help from his friend Molly, who gives him fake IDs and a disguise. Ben travels to New York, records his daily video, and earns his first bonus. The hunters torture Molly and track Ben down, but Ben escapes after a violent chase that ends with a huge explosion. The network falsely rewards Ben for the deaths caused. Exhausted, Ben meets Stacy and his brother Brad, who secretly fight the network. Brad hides Ben and offers to help him survive and win the game. The next day, Ben learns about the horrible things happening in the neighborhood, but the government keeps them under wraps. A furious Ben records a video telling the public about these atrocities and claims the government is killing their children. Later during the show, Bobby appears with a group of kids, claiming they are the children orphaned by the hostile explosion. He plays Ben's tape, heavily edited so it sounds like Ben is mocking the children. Ben tries to explain that it's fake, but Brad's mother is disgusted and kicks him out. Brad and Stacy are still determined to help, so they hide Ben in the trunk of their car and drive off. Suddenly, the car accelerates, and a bullet hits the trunk as two motorcycles chase them. Ben opens the trunk and throws a tool at one biker's face, causing him to crash. The other bikers open fire, so Ben hides again while Brad stops the car. The bikers can't stop in time and crash into it, so Brad quickly runs over both of them to take them out. Afterward, Brad drops Ben off outside town and gives him a gun along with a card containing the address of his friend Elton. After a short train trip, Ben hides in another hotel and watches his latest tape on TV. Knowing the network will edit everything, he simply recorded himself reading a book. Bobby also shows Jenny's tape, revealing that she's partying at a club. Disguised as a blind priest, Ben leaves the hotel to drop off his tape, but the mailman is already there and grows suspicious. He approaches Ben under the excuse of asking a question to check his face and secretly records him. Ben tackles him and headbutts him. After dropping the tape into the box, he runs away. A car starts chasing him, so Ben runs through the woods and jumps over a fence to catch a passing train. The mailman opens fire, but Ben is already leaping between train cars to escape. In Maine, Ben pretends to be a disabled man and joins a group watching the show on the street. Jenny is found at a casino and nearly escapes in a car, but two teenagers manage to set the vehicle on fire, killing her. Shortly after, Ben meets Elton. He lives with his mother, but claims she's mentally unwell, so they can ignore her. Elton takes Ben to his secret room, where he prints an anti-ET newsletter. His father was a cop who was killed by fellow officers after speaking out against the system, turning Elton into a rebel. Elton explains that street lamps across the country contain scanners that can identify DNA strands, meaning Ben must hide underground. His father built a bunker during the Cold War, and Elton suggests Ben hide there to win the game. Afterward, he plans to distribute newsletters featuring Ben's face to spark a revolution. Ben spends the night in a hidden room and records his tape. In the morning, he attempts to deliver it, but Elton's mother sees him. She immediately recognizes Ben and tries to alert the community. Elton stops her, but then realizes he could avenge his father and alerts the police anyway. Soon, the house is surrounded and bullets tear through the walls. The mother tries to reveal their location, but Elton locks her up before activating his booby traps. When the police break in, Elton sprays water onto exposed electrical cables, electrocuting several officers. He and Ben escape through a hidden wall, triggering another trap that sprays chemicals and ignites the intruders. A stairway trap collapses, sending officers crashing down. Elton leads Ben to the bathroom, where they slide down a pole hidden in the shower. In the next room, Elton opens a concealed floor hatch, and they descend into a tunnel. Unfortunately, a hunter is waiting and stabs Elton before attacking Ben. A fight breaks out, and Ben's hand is cut before he disarms the hunter. Elton grabs the knife and slashes the hunter's ankle, making him fall. The hunter receives a call from Dan, who wants to speak with Ben. When Ben asks why the network doesn't fake the show using technology, Dan explains they tried, but computer-generated people aren't as entertaining as real ones. Dan then asks Ben to kill the hunter so the drone can record it for higher ratings. Instead, Ben shoots the drone. Elton and Ben escape through a door into a vehicle and flee into the woods, where a helicopter begins following them. Elton urges Ben to leave him behind as a distraction and run to the shelter. Tragically, a sniper in the helicopter shoots Elton in the head. Two hunters surround Ben, but don't shoot because they're ordered to capture him alive for execution on live TV. The vehicle is filled with explosives, so Ben drives it onto a bridge and jumps out just before it crashes into one of the hunters, causing a massive explosion. Ben falls into a river as his bracelet awards him a huge bonus for killing a hunter. After sneaking through the countryside, Ben reaches the bunker's location, only to discover the government destroyed it to build a new city. He spends the night in an abandoned house and dreams about his family, which motivates him to continue. When the police arrive, they find Ben's latest tape along with a message that reads, "You mail it." On the road, Ben smashes the window of the first passing car and climbs inside. He threatens Amelia, forcing her to drive as fast as possible while drones and police pursue them. After dodging multiple vehicles, she suddenly turns onto oncoming traffic, temporarily losing their pursuers. During the drive, Amelia insults Ben repeatedly. Ben shows her a photo of his family and explains the truth about the players and fake videos. Suddenly, the car's AI is hacked and forces the vehicle to stop. Two rednecks attempt to capture them, but a drone opens fire, killing them and blowing up their truck. Dan wants Ben alive for more rants. On TV, a fake video shows Amelia screaming for help, making her finally believe Ben. They continue driving and see people lining the roads, cheering them on. Eventually, they encounter a roadblock led by the headhunter. With drones recording, Ben pretends he has explosives and threatens to kill civilians on live TV. He demands a plane and 2 parachutes, and the hunter receives orders to comply. Ben tells Amelia she can leave, but she refuses, having learned the truth. At the airport, Ben forces the hunter leader to remove his mask, revealing Evan's face on camera. Ben realizes the pilots are hunters too, and threatens to blow up the plane unless they fly to Canada. During the flight, Evan grows impatient, and an argument breaks out. Amelia pretends to panic about the bomb to stop them. Suddenly, Dan appears on a screen and reveals the plane was scanned. There are no explosives. Evan prepares to shoot Ben, but the pilots aim at Evan instead, following Dan's orders. Dan privately offers Ben a deal. If he kills Evan and the pilots, Ben can become a hunter and earn millions annually. Ben refuses, and Dan shows footage of hunters killing Sheila and Kathy. Ben screams in grief and smashes the screen. Amelia watches Bobby broadcast the footage, claiming the hunters broke the rules. The audience turns against the network. A pilot realizes it's a setup and raises his gun, but Ben shoots him first and uses his body as a shield. A violent struggle ensues, and the plane begins to descend. Ben eventually regains control, kills the remaining hunters, and the drone activates the remote pilot, stabilizing the plane. Ben finds Evan hiding in a hatch, and another fight erupts. Evan slashes Ben's stomach and reveals he was once a contestant who survived 29 days. The network turned him into a hunter to prevent him from winning. Evan claims the network would torture families if needed, implying the footage was fake. As Evan tries to shoot Ben, the plane suddenly tilts, causing him to miss. The bullet shatters a window, and the plane begins to fall. Ben pulls Evan's parachute, which gets stuck in the broken window, allowing Ben to kill Evan with a knife. Ben gives Amelia a bag containing Elton's newsletters and opens the door so she can jump. The drone follows her, but she insults it and releases the newsletters into the wind. On TV, Dan announces Ben as the new hunter. Ben addresses the camera, revealing the truth about the network and urging people to stop watching and rise up. The signal is cut, and Dan edits the footage to make Ben look insane. The audience watches as the plane explodes in the sky. Later, Brad analyzes the episode and points out inconsistencies. People recover the plane's black box, and the real footage leaks online. Inspired by Ben's message and Elton's newsletters, society rises up against the network. Brad also discovers the plane's auto-eject seat is missing, meaning Ben may still be alive. At a supermarket, Sheila and a Healthy Kathy shop using the money Ben earned. When they leave, they're shocked to see Ben waiting for them. At the TV station, Bobby panics and quits as an angry crowd storms the building. Dan takes the stage, but rebels throw explosives. As chaos erupts, Dan tries to escape, trips over a cable and falls. Ben emerges from the flames and shoots him in the head. And that's how our story ends. What did you think about the ending? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss our next breakdown.